let's do some math. A field goal, a safety, and a safety equals 7 points. No touchdowns for Iowa. Georgia had 7 drives with a touchdown each. 7 times 7 is 49. Old Dominion versus Virginia Tech. They've lost to him 2 times. 2 muff punts plus a blocked field goal plus a blocked extra point equals an LSU loss. And that's the math for this week.
Mm-hmm. So that was my son helping me out with some math there, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. He wanted to be on the show, so I'm like, what better way than let's create some flashcards for him and get him in there involved somehow. So week 1 is up and over, guys. And I got to ask y'all, I want you to take one word and describe what week 1 felt like to you guys.
Exhilarating.
Exhilarating. Tyler, what's yours?
Is Florida State one word?
Florida State.
Criminals. Hey, I know why Florida State won. I heard Jameis Winston got him some crab legs from the local Eagles before the game. The law enforcement showed up to get him.
Is that what he fed the team before the
Yeah,
game?
that was their pregame meal. Was Jameis Winston's stolen crab legs. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about today, including Florida State and LSU. What a game. A lot of good games. But we're going to start on Thursday night, the opening game of the real season. I mean, we know Nebraska. Is that even a football team? Anyway, we know they played last week, but this week the real opening game was Pitt versus West Virginia. What a game. JT Daniels showed up. I loved it.
His offensive line was absolutely not giving him any time at all. But he made it work. He did things that I didn't see him do at Georgia. I'm just like, I'm not jealous that he's gone. I'm happy with our national quarterback, Stetson Bennett. But like these screens that he was just throwing these screens so fast. The quick release on there, I'm like, dude, this guy's lightning. JT Daniels did such a good job. They fell short at the end. Keaton Slovis looked good. And a lot of people who don't know this, Keaton Slovis actually took over JT Daniels' spot when they were at USC because JT Daniels had an injury, and JT Daniels never won that starting job back, and that's when he came to Georgia, and he lost the job again, and he went to West Virginia.
I mean, I feel like West Virginia looked good. I would give more credit to Pittsburgh than... Here's the thing. The game was close, and everybody's going to look at Pittsburgh. Like, I have Pittsburgh in the college football playoff, and I still stand by it. I think Pittsburgh's a college football playoff team. I think Keaton Slovis is a good quarterback. I think they got the receivers, the running back, and I think their defense is going to show up. But here's the reality of it all. I don't think they knew what to expect from West Virginia's offense because it's a whole new offense from last year. It's very much improved. They have some big wide receivers. So they didn't really have game film on them. But then the other thing is, Pittsburgh just shot themselves in the foot. And you could watch that game and say, oh, West Virginia should have won. But how many times did Pittsburgh have a penalty on 3rd and long that gave them a first down? And how many times did something crazy just happen? And at the end of the game, JT threw the ball to Wheaton. The man was the bomb all game. It bounced off his hands and into a pit. It was a gift.
Yeah,
from all the failures that they had before that.
I saw a meme this weekend, and it had Wheaton when he's in triple coverage, and he was just like this massive, like, built line. And then when he was in single coverage right there, and he's a kitty cat. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. But
it happens.
It happens. I mean, but I love that game. And I think we knew Pittsburgh was going to be pretty good this year, but we didn't really know for sure. We're kind of on the fence with West Virginia a little bit. So my take for that game it's just like, I was happy to see that West Virginia is a decent team that probably might win 8-9 games. Maybe we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the season plays out, and how good these other Big 12 teams are. But I was impressed with West Virginia, and I think anyone at the end could have really taken that game and won.
Yeah, I don't think either team are very far apart.
Well, and I think, too, like, we don't understand how big of a rivalry that is because they haven't played in 11 years. But that is – I lived in West Virginia. People live and die for the West Virginia-Pittsburgh game. It is brutal. My take from Pitt is last year they would have lost that game. They lost close games. They blew one to Western Michigan. They ended up blowing one later in the year to NC State, I think. They had some losses that shouldn't have happened in close games. This year they went out and took that game. So I think they're improved. I'm excited about them. The next game up on Thursday night was another good one.
Woo!
Penn State, Purdue. And I'm sold on Penn State. I know you can look at the game and say, oh, they barely beat Purdue. I think Penn State's a good football team, though.
I mean, that was just such a fun game to watch because Aiden O'Connell did everything he possibly could to carry that team. And Purdue, like I said earlier when we did the Big Ten, covered that a few weeks ago, they lost a lot of key receivers on that team. Aiden O'Connell made it work. I mean, he just was lights out good. But at the end of the game, I think Penn State just had more depth. I think they just took over it towards the end of the game. And it really just came down to the wire, just like that Pitt West Virginia game. Man, and we didn't think any of these games could get any better, but Thursday night was just absolutely crazy. It was just two great games.
For Penn State, and I was telling Dustin this on the ride over here, that last year they lost 5 games by single digits.
Mm-hmm.
That is demoralizing for a team. And it's like Nebraska. Nebraska, it's a mindset right now. They cannot win a close game. But I think Penn State had that mindset. So I look at the Purdue-Penn State game as bigger than what it was because it came down to the wire and they showed what they were made of. And you have no idea what that can do to a team. I've been an athlete. I've been in a lot of sports. And I've lost some close games, close matches I wrestled. And there is a mindset that comes when you lose enough of those close matchups to where you're like, man. But when you finally get over the hump, it brings momentum that you didn't know you had, and I think they're going to carry it on and have a good season. I still stand by the fact that I think they're going to win the Big Ten East. After watching Ohio State, and we'll get into that, I'm even more confident in my Nittany Lions. But
right.
So that's kind of my takeaway from Thursday night. 2 great games. The teams in the Pennsylvanias got out alive, and I think they're both going to have really good seasons.
Yeah, and I could not believe how great Thursday night was. What an opening game! It wasn't week 0, but for week 1, the opening night of week 1, it was just a fantastic slate of games there. Let's move over to Friday night. We're just going to talk real quick. Old Dominion beats Virginia Tech again.
Yeah,
Freightliner keeps beating Virginia Tech, and I don't know. And they're not a bad team. Everyone's like, oh, you lost to Old Dominion. They're really not a bad team. They had a pretty good record last year, but Virginia Tech looks to be in deep trouble going off. Let's see what Brent Fry does. And I think he could salvage a season, but
I don't.
You don't think so? I think
Virginia Tech's in trouble, man. They were horrible. They're going to lose to Boston College this weekend. I had them going 8-4. I thought he was the guy. They ain't making a bowl. I'd be surprised if they make a bowl. I mean, Miami's for sure going to beat them. Pittsburgh is for sure going to beat them. Who else is on that side of the conference? Duke might beat them. Duke was more impressive.
More impressive.
I don't see it. The Pokey suck. That's all there is to it. Dude, bring back the old man if you want to win some games. Bring back Beamer.
You're going to have to go home to your wife, who's a huge Virginia Tech fan,
Yikes.
by the way. Ooh.
Yikes.
Man. Oh, man. Illinois and Indiana, what were your thoughts on that? It was a close game, but
it
I
was
just
better
didn't
than I thought. Actually, Indiana impressed me. But that's against Illinois. We'll see. I think they could upset. The Big Ten West is wide open, man. I think Indiana could upset some of those teams. I don't know that there's a spread in that side of the conference, so we'll see.
Okay. Let's move on to Saturday now.
Saturday, what a...
I was so upset because there were too many good games on, and of course we're homers, and I wanted to watch a Georgia game, but there were so many other games that I wanted to watch too. I ended up leaving the house right as the ending of the NC State game and the North Carolina game. App State almost upset North Carolina. NC State, I was not impressed with them. NC State, I was high on at the beginning of the season.
I don't
It's
count
one
them
game.
out, though. East Carolina is not a bad team.
And that's
It was on
the
the
truth.
road. They controlled the game. It kind of got late. East Carolina snuck back into it and made it look like they were going to win the game. And they should have won the game. I don't think NC State's bad. I mean, I'll say that. But going off of week 1, I was not impressed with them.
Right.
Right there at the top of the screen, you have Utah State, Alabama. Alabama just took care of business.
Keep in mind, Utah State won their conference last year, so it's not just a straight up pushover type game. Utah State is good in their own right compared to Alabama. No,
And in 55-0, and that was in the third quarter with like 11 minutes left. That was Alabama looked good. Then you want to just go down this top 25 list? You
Let's
got
just go-
Notre Dame, Ohio State.
I don't really know what to think of that. Ohio State did not impress me, and that's why they got jumped in the AP poll this afternoon. Georgia jumped them and took over that number 2 spot. But Ohio State and Notre Dame, just that game it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Well, wait. Y'all told me that Ohio State was going to beat the brakes out of Notre Dame. I heard about it every time I said something. No, Notre Dame's got a shot. They might not. They might even win the game. All I heard was no. They suck. They're going to get killed.
You're jumping to conclusions here.
I'm not jumping to conclusions.
No,
That's what I was
haven't
told for a
finished what
month.
I'm saying. I thought Ohio State was going to drill them. That's the good game. I wanted Ohio State to beat the crap out of Notre Dame, and they really didn't. They really just what I don't know if it was. All right, the top receiver went out of the game, but they just did not look good offensively. Defensively, Knowles is much better. But
Or does Notre Dame's offense just suck? Because that's what I think.
That's my thing. I think that's the problem right now with a lot, like viewing a lot of these teams, is that we assume these defenses are so good, but are we really covering up for the ineptitude of some of these offenses? Because Ohio State's offense didn't look great. Notre Dame's offense definitely didn't look
Notre
great.
Dame's offense was terrible.
And I can't say Ohio State's got a good defense because they don't. So is it just the rust? Is it their offense is just that bad, or are these defenses?
I think we need to give some credit to. Here's my thing about Notre Dame. I think their offense sucks. I do think they have a good defense though. I don't think that Ohio State's offense is that bad. I think that Notre Dame is going to hold some teams to low scoring games this year. I don't know that they got the offense to get it done. They for sure aren't beating North Carolina. I can tell you that right now. North Carolina they're going to score too much. There's some offenses you're just not going to slow down enough. But I do give credit where credit's due on the defense. But on the other side, I don't think Ohio State's defense is good. What I saw from Notre Dame's offense was a terrible offense. They looked a lot like Clemson, in my opinion. It was bad. And we'll see. I'm not high on Ohio State. I haven't been the whole time. I didn't have them in my playoff. I still think they're going to win double-digit games, obviously, but they're not a playoff team in my opinion. But a lot would disagree.
Yeah, Josh Sweat was saying Jackson Smith, I can't pronounce his last name, so someone help me there. Yeah, he went out of the game, and I definitely saw that too as being a factor in that game. I just felt like after he went out of the game, they couldn't get the offense going.
But if you need one player, we look at the elite teams. Look at Georgia. Bro, you take one player out, they got 10 other ones to throw it to. When you're elite like you're supposed to be, then it doesn't matter.
Let's jump ahead real quick, and we'll go back in order. You talking about elite players. You take Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Does Florida win that game?
No.
Oh no,
absolutely.
But they have them. I'm not saying Florida's elite. We're talking about teams that are elite compared to teams that are good.
That's also the argument of a quarterback, though. I mean, a quarterback's a big piece of a team.
But y'all see my point, though. One player doesn't change the whole dynamic of the whole team.
A quarterback, man. Well, for sure.
Bad analogy, man. I could have used someone else, but that was the first thing that came to my mind.
I mean, it's the same as like somebody losing, like losing a top receiver or a top running back. Okay, I get that, but even that is not a big. Like it's not a backbreaker as much as a quarterback could be.
And I will say a running back could be a big deal if your team just grounds and pounds and he runs the ball 30 times a game. Yes, that's the center of your offense.
Syracuse is running back.
If he gets hurt, Syracuse sucks.
Okay.
Man, y'all know I've been talking about that joker for a month now.
Yeah,
Sean Tucker is the man.
He's pretty.
I was surprised with Syracuse. Clemson should be a little bit scared of Syracuse. They already struggle with them, and they looked good on Saturday. But aside from the point, Oregon, Georgia. What do y'all?
Georgia sucks. They should have blew him out. Actually, Georgia. All right, I'm jumping ahead.
Defense isn't
jumping ahead. That's the game we're talking about.
I'm jumping ahead to the future here. I don't see Georgia losing a game.
Georgia will not lose a game. There is no way Georgia loses a game. They are too good.
I don't see Alabama losing a game either.
Alabama and Georgia are on a collision course to play in the SEC championship and then play again in the national championship. After week one, I saw enough.
we might as well just quit this show completely because it just comes down to those two teams. If you want my honest opinion, so
I think
it's been fun, guys.
you're going to have a lot of teams that are really going to have to make a pretty good case for being in that same conversation. I don't know if there's very few teams that have the kind of schedule to do that, but I mean, it's going to be hard. That's a tough uphill battle for any other team to establish themselves in that conversation. Even Ohio State.
Ohio State isn't even close. Georgia would beat Ohio State's brains in. I'm telling you, Georgia's offense is not. I don't think it's stoppable. You're going to have to outscore them. And you could say, oh, that's what it's just Oregon. Oregon's good. I think we're going to learn that Oregon has a good team. They probably win 9-10 games this year.
I don't think Oregon's terrible. New coach. You've lost a good bit. You lost a chunk of your grab. You got a whole bunch of new transfers that are still learning their coach or learning the school. There's a lot of positive going for them. It's not this year, isn't it? And maybe 2 years down the road, when he starts building his team and his program, we'll see some stuff out of Oregon.
In my opinion, Georgia looks better than last year.
I agree with that.
I think Georgia looks more solid all around. I'm not saying the defense is better. I understand we had one of the best defenses you'll ever see. The defense might have took a step back, but our offense took 5 steps forward.
I could see the defense going from 10 points per game last year to maybe 14 points per game this year. But, I mean, compared to when you look at it, that's not a huge drop-off. We still got a lot
I'm interested in Brandon Burns. Who on Georgia gets injured that stops him? Even if Stetson gets injured. Heck. Put someone else in. Like
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck's going to come in. Stetson Jet is the man. Don't get me wrong. I love Stetson Bennett, but put anyone in. My gosh, I could go play quarterback and throw it to a 6'7" player.
The Georgia team this year will be identical to the one last year, but a slight reverse. The defense last year made up for the offensive woes that Georgia had. This year, the offense will make up for any of the defensive woes that Georgia has, if they have any. Which, there's a lot of young kids on that team. It's gonna, they're gonna be pushed, but that's only gonna make them better in the long run.
Yeah. And like Aaron, you said, I think Oregon could potentially win 8-9 games and stuff
maybe
like
10.
that. They always win 10 games. It seems like, or get.
Brandon Burns says 7. He's crazy, man.
Dude,
that's a tall
I
ask.
plead with you, Brandon, to go look over the Pac-12.
They're going to lose to Oregon State. They don't play USC. Who else do they lose to? Maybe Utah? They're going to lose to Utah and Oregon State. They're going to go 9-3.
That's fair. I think you're right on the money with that. Anyway, let's move on. We'll talk about Texas A&M real quick.
They suck.
Haynes King.
Trash. Next game.
Why did that game take him 8 hours to score 31 points?
Jimbo Fisher obviously sees something in Haynes King that just doesn't make sense. I was waiting for Max Johnson to come in that game because I was bored. That was a boring game. And I'm all for a good defensive battle and stuff like that. It obviously wasn't the case.
They were playing Sam Houston State.
But it was just
who cares?
So boring. There's nothing dynamic about Texas A&M. You've recruited all these players, but let's see Jimbo develop these players and make a team out of this. Because right now, I don't see it. I don't even think they're the tops. I don't even think they're should be ranked 6.
They're going to lose to Appalachian State this weekend. Watch it happen. You're laughing. They will lose to App State this weekend. Texas A&M is not good. Watch it happen. It's going to be embarrassing.
That's going to be a good game.
App State's offense is good, man. Texas A&M loses. App State gets the W. I'm sorry. That's happening. A&M sucks.
It's at Texas A&M at 3:30.
That's at 3:30. Okay. CBS.
It doesn't matter where they're playing. App
ESPN
State
too.
wins the game.
Well,
man.
I wouldn't think Texas A&M would go to App State, but North Carolina went to App State.
But it's just because that's like they had a 2-for-1 deal, and that's like a rivalry game.
And Virginia Tech went to Old Dominion. All right, moving on to the next game. Florida and Utah, arguably probably the best game.
So I wore this shirt. I bought a shirt just so I could talk trash to Florida fans after y'all got beat. Honestly, I expected to stand in here today and just make fun of Florida for a few minutes when we talk about this game and point to my shirt and talk about how they're a college football playoff team. But they're not bad. They're not. I thought they had a good team. I think Florida's good. But Utah is done. They aren't making the playoff. And so my playoff bracket is already busted, so I got to replace them with somebody. And
That's not a Florida State shirt.
I got to replace them with the Georgia Bulldogs. I didn't have Georgia in the playoff. I think they for sure make the playoff now. Love Utah. Think they could still win out, but they're not making the playoff. The Dogs are getting in. But what did you think about the game?
Listen.
I'll let you go first.
I don't think any of us were high. Okay, maybe some. Is it? Were any of us high on Florida?
Heck no, dude. I thought Florida sucked.
Okay,
I thought
we all
Florida was
thought
gonna lose
Florida
by
was going to
14.
suck. That's fine. We're going to be wrong. That's the way it rolls. But I will say, Florida looked, I wouldn't say like light years better than I expected, but they're more competitive than I anticipated, which is a great thing for Florida because being a not his first year head coach, but his first year at Florida, that's impressive to get them rolling like that against Utah. Utah had just about everything that Florida could handle, and Florida responded. It was great.
Go ahead. I'll wait to go last.
I think, I mean, I'm not going to go and talk about it. I just want to say, though, that the talent was there for Florida. If you remember
Anthony
early on
Richardson,
last year,
man.
Florida lost to Alabama by 2 points. It was a ball game. It wasn't until Dan Mullen got into it with the administration that things started spiraling downhill. So it's not like it was a team without talent. It was a team without a coach, a team without direction. Now they have a coach. Now they have direction. They're set up to have a great season. Now, what do you think of the game?
All right. So, did anyone watch the sidelines and see Kyle Whittingham, or what's the coach's name for Utah? Is it Kyle Whittingham? Its last name's Whittingham. Anyways, dude's wearing a black shirt, and he is covered in sweat right there. I'm not trying to be petty here, but we all know we live in the South. The three of us do. We know what Georgia, Florida humidity
Spicy.
feels like. I've been out west. I flew to Phoenix, Arizona, and it can be 119 degrees out there. But you come to Georgia and it be 82 degrees. I'll take the 119 degrees in Arizona before I take the temperature of 82 degrees here in Georgia or Florida. And here's why. Because the thickness and the humidity just absolutely drains you. And I'm not saying that that's what turned the game and why Florida won that game, but I'm saying it played a small factor. Now I'm going to skip over that part and quit talking about it before anyone tries to roast me. Anthony Richardson is a grown man. The dude just kept on going. I don't understand. The fluke, not the fluke, what am I trying to say? The pump fake?
Yeah. Awesome.
It took me 4 times to watch that to figure out what he was doing. I didn't
Awesome.
understand it. I could not comprehend what he did there. Anthony Richardson, I think if he stays healthy, I think Florida makes a run. I could possibly see a 9-3 team for Florida.
9-3?
9-3. You said earlier you like 11-1.
What does that speak to how bad Dan Mullen was about not wanting to play him?
A lot. Dan Mullen's a joke, dude. He needs to grow a neck and go get another job.
How did Emory Jones do this week? Did someone bring that to our attention? I want to know how Emory Jones isn't he at Arizona State now? Is that right? Didn't Arizona State
Who
lose?
cares? The dude
Anyway,
sucks.
I'm just making
You
a
loved
comparison.
him.
here.
I remember hearing all about him last year.
Back when he was in high
Emory
school, he
Jones,
didn't
I
pan
love
out. He didn't-
Florida. Blah blah blah.
He
You
didn't
said that
pan
all the
out.
time. Florida. If Florida gets through Kentucky this week, I think Florida's going to go 11-1.
Yikes.
I just.
They've got all the advantages.
I think
Florida
Kentucky
does.
is their toughest, but I mean they're going to lose to Georgia. Georgia's going to beat up on them, but they play Texas A&M, I believe, in the crossover game, and LSU. I don't see either of them beating them. Going at Texas A&M could be a hard one, but Florida goes 10-2 at worst if they beat Kentucky this weekend. Kentucky's good though, so I'm not sure who I've taken that game. Was very impressed with Florida. I think they played good defensively. I think that Anthony Richardson played like a man possessed. You know, you say one player can't do it, but Cam Newton did. So I think Billy Napier is a good coach. At Louisiana, he did an excellent job. Whenever I lived out in Louisiana, we'd go to Lafayette all the time, and people just loved that man. And I also, at the park one day in Athens, I was talking to a guy that was on staff at Georgia. He was an offensive analyst, so he worked for Kirby and Billy Napier. And he talked about both of them. He said Kirby is brutal. You know, a great guy, but brutal. He said, but he talked about Billy as if he was just a nice, level-headed guy that knew what he was doing. And I think that's what Florida needs. They've had all these hotheads coaching there, which has caused issues. And I think he's going to be the guy that gets Florida back on the map. I think they're going to be in the top 10 in the country. I hate to say it, and this literally hurts coming out, but I'm high on Florida after week 1.
Yeah, and
I think Utah's good.
Sweat said Emory Jones went 13 of 18 for 152 yards and 48 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. So those aren't terrible numbers.
I'm not necessarily high on. I think, like I said, I think Florida's a lot better than I anticipated. I need to see Florida play on the road, and then I will be a better judge as to how I feel about the team as a whole. Anthony Richardson is definitely that guy, but can they carry that into Kentucky or past Kentucky?
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Michigan real quick. They look good. I mean, they're playing Colorado State, but they look good. They scored 51. The game was 51-7.
I was impressed.
Can khakis repeat?
I know Harbaugh said that they're going to have 2 different quarterbacks start, the one the first game and the one the second game. How do y'all feel about something like that?
It don't matter. They're not playing anybody. I think Michigan's okay. Last week I made a bold prediction saying, and honestly, I just said it just came out and I was talking trash. It was really for David White. But I will say I didn't expect them to lose, honestly. But I will say I didn't expect Michigan to be as good as they were. I was impressed, in my opinion.
They look like last year's team.
Yeah, like I'm not. They looked better than Ohio State, in my opinion. I know they didn't play anybody, but I'm just watching the game, not necessarily the opponent. Just watching how they attack the defenses and how their defense was attacking the offenses. I was impressed.
Arkansas.
That's an offense I think that can get Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a better game than I thought it was going to be.
Well, they were successful last year with controlling the game clock and just having good defense and those third downs. They stopped them constantly on third down when it really mattered the most. And Big Ten's open to
at
me.
Ohio State though.
Yeah,
Big Ten's open. I still think it could be Penn State. I think it could be Michigan. I think it could be Ohio State. I don't really know. I think it's one of those 3 teams.
Penn State,
Wisconsin, maybe. Iowa, you suck. I've never seen 2 safeties in a game. Have y'all ever seen 2 safeties in a game? Someone tell me the last time the same team scored 2 safeties in a game.
not only did they score 2 safeties, they scored 2 safeties to win the game. I thought at one point they were going to win the game 5-3, and it's honestly impressive. I mean, how did you do that? Like, we could say whatever we want about Iowa. South Dakota State is among the best Division II schools. It was still a sad game. I'm not. There's no if, and buts about it. But they'll be okay. They're going to win 8-9 games. They're not going to win the Big Ten West, but they're going to be okay.
Yeah. Josh has made another comment. I'm keeping on reading things. Yeah, Florida's weakness is probably going to be their depth, especially on their defense, their linebackers, and defensive line, and he said wide receiver too. Yeah, if y'all had Copeland this year, y'all would be scary good.
I know an LSU receiver looking for a home.
Yeah, but he's going to Georgia.
Florida's going to beat Tennessee in Week 4, by the way, Josh. Tennessee could impress me this week, and I don't think they will, though.
Oh, don't worry, Chris. We'll get to LSU in a minute.
All right. Hold your horses, Chris. All right, let's move quickly on to, y'all want to talk about the NC State East Carolina game real quick? Y'all go ahead.
I have nothing to say. I mean, I just think it was one of those games. NC State's fine. They'll keep winning.
Devin Leary just didn't play his best game. East Carolina's a pretty good team.
It was a fluke.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think they'll come out and they'll play better next week.
So after Week 1, are you trashing NC State and saying, hey, they're not going to win the ACC? Or do you still think they have a shot?
I still think they have a shot. I was just disappointed in how that game turned out. I think NC State can make a run for it. Pittsburgh looks good. Florida State, I'm on the fence. I'm kind of wanting – Tyler's pulling me over onto this side of the fence and making me want to believe. But I'm not quite there yet because of LSU. We're going to move on to LSU here in a minute.
Onto that point, though, I'm with Tyler. NC State is not going to win that side of the conference. You've still got Wake Forest. You've got Florida State. We'll get on to Clemson. But that's not – it's just too strong. Syracuse Syracuse looked really good, guys. If their running back stays healthy, I think it's wide open in that conference right now. The ACC is going to be fun to watch this year.
They really are.
They have a competitive year for once in, I don't know,
exactly.
a long time. A long time. Since Jameis Winston was there.
What about Arkansas? Let's talk a little bit about Arkansas.
Or Kansas.
I did not expect that score. I thought Arkansas would beat Cincinnati a little bit. I thought they'd win by 17, maybe 20.
What we learned, I don't think that score indicates where Arkansas's at. I think it shows that Cincinnati, he's built a program there. They're I expected there to be a big downfall, but they actually looked pretty good. They had some players that came out and played well. They were down in the game and they came out and they made it a game. I think Arkansas is still a good team. I was impressed with Cincinnati though. They're not going to beat UCF, but that's aside from the point. I still think they're going to have a really good year. They're not like Tyler said, a high school team or anything.
They're a high school football team.
He stands by that. That's all I heard. All right.
I don't. Cincinnati should have been ranked to begin with.
I missed the end of the North
Arkansas just had an
Carolina.
off night.
I missed the end of the North Carolina Appalachian State game.
The spectacular ending. But the thing, my problem with Mac Brown is he does not know how to coach up his players. They just make idiotic decisions. How do you return an onside kick for a touchdown when you're up a point? So they return the onside kick. App State scores a touchdown. They're down 1 point. They go for 2. They miss it. Game should be over. App State goes out and obviously kicks an onside kick, hoping to get the ball back so they can win the game. North Carolina gets it and runs it back. Goes up 8 points in the game. So App State still has 45 seconds to score. What does App State do? They drive down the field and they score. Comes down to a 2-point conversion. Hit the hands.
What was this?
Fell. They
They
lost.
scored like 40 points in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. It was like
that's insane.
Wait, are you
63.
serious? I
Yeah,
did not
they
know
scored
that.
40. Dude, they were down 41-21 going into the fourth quarter. App State was.
I'm going
They
to have
ended
to
up-
find this game and rewatch this game. I
63,
was not
61 was the
aware of
final.
that. Wow.
I thought we were going to overtime, and I thought we were going to end up seeing 80 points in that game, honestly. I was shocked when North Carolina stopped them.
God, 100. Chase Bryce had 361 yards.
Dude,
good
I'm
Lord.
telling you, App State's beating Texas A&M. North Carolina's offense is insane.
Drake May.
They are going to give some teams fits in the ACC, and I had them going 9-3. I stand by that. I think North Carolina, their defense is trash, but sometimes you don't need a defense to win games. Oklahoma's proved it over and over again.
Just not big games.
Yeah, big games. Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to win a national championship or anything.
So let's talk about this. All right, are you serious? Appalachian State being Texas A&M? Because let's put a prediction out here and just have it on. I need a pen so we can write this down. I want to hear how close you
well,
get on
dude,
this
we're
prediction.
on the air.
I wanted to write it down so we have it written
Look,
down. Go.
I think you run a situation like West Virginia and Pittsburgh. Like you could realistically have a game where it's decided by some kind of crazy possession at the end. Appalachian State has that ability. It's pretty clear. If Texas A&M doesn't bring everything that game, it could be close. Like Aaron's saying, someone's posted the spread earlier. It was like what 17.
It's 17 and a half. I definitely
It's
take it
definitely-
plus 17
oh,
and a
yeah,
half.
for sure,
It might
for
be
sure, for
18.
sure.
I can't remember. It's somewhere around in that area. I'm taking App State 38-31. I think it goes back and forth, and App State. Or App State puts them in a hole, and Texas A&M starts coming back and just doesn't have enough. App State's defense will play better this week. Texas A&M does not have the offense that North Carolina has. North Carolina's offense, they didn't even have their best receiver. And App State's defense is not a pushover, man. They played good defense last year. And they returned all of those players.
Yeah. I looked into Appalachian State a little bit before the season started, and I have to say I was impressed. And I didn't, I was still thinking, I'm like, they might be North Carolina. They might keep it close, but I'm like, I just don't know because I saw Drake May play with his 5 touchdowns that first game, and I'm just like, this dude is insane. I don't even think it's going to be close, and I'm proving wrong.
Jimbo is in trouble. I'm just saying, after this season, in my opinion, Jimbo is going to be in trouble. After all this recruiting, I think they're going to go 7-5. I'm not high on them at all. I don't think they look good. I don't think they play good. I don't think Jimbo's a good coach. He got lucky because he had crab legs for a couple years, and it made his career good. Now he gets paid $10 million a year to go 8-5. Kevin Sumlin was doing the same thing, except Texas A&M wasn't as good because they didn't recruit as good. So now there's no excuse except bad coaching. Jimbo sucks.
I feel like if they could get their offense on track, they'd be a decent team, but they can't. It's all defense, and it's not even a great defense. It's a good defense, but not a great defense.
Jim Blow.
Haynes King, I still don't understand that. I think you got to throw Max Johnson. Give Max Johnson a shot. Let him play. Let's move on.
Joshua Sweat, A&M won't win that game, man. I'm telling you, App State.
I'd like to see App State win. I have like no.
Man,
serious-
A&M sucks. If App State doesn't win, I'd be surprised. I'm being serious here. Texas A&M to me is hot trash, and we're going to learn that this week.
But they have the #1 recruiting class.
I don't give a crap about that.
But the
stupid
number
class.
one recruiting classes don't work the first year. I mean, you might have a few players come out of there. Like Georgia had Brock Bowers last year, and he was fantastic. But
You got to develop.
you have to develop them.
Those players will transfer out because of bad coaching. That's the thing. They can recruit all the talent they want. Their coach sucks,
Well,
so they're all going to go somewhere else.
I think notoriously Jimbo has had he's had a few good players, but how much of that has he really developed? Like I feel like Kirby's developed people. You know, that's the biggest difference. I feel like you get lucky with some of those recruits, but how well can Jimbo develop this recruiting class that he's got going on?
He won't.
Arizona beat San Diego State.
I had Arizona going 0-12.
I know, and I went into Arizona, and I was just like, dang, I'm
I think
about to
that's
tell
one of the
Aaron
picks that
this.
screwed me this week.
Arizona was that when I read it, they looked like they were going to be a better team than we thought. I'm honestly still surprised that Arizona beat San Diego
They're
State.
going to
They won by
11.
18.
They suck, man. All right, what we got next? What's another
Let's
good
see
game?
here.
Are we missing something?
No, I'm just scrolling down the list right
South
here.
Carolina looked average against Georgia State.
Okay.
I mean, there's not really much to tell. I think Georgia State's a pretty good team, and South Carolina won by 3 touchdowns. But a lot of that was special teams. They had like 2 blocked punts in the game. So still to be told about.
Hey,
South
Vanderbilt's still
Carolina.
rolling, guys.
Yes, Vandy, Clark Lee, good job.
They're built different, man.
Auburn,
It's Clark Lea, bro.
I'm going to talk about Mississippi State. Will Rogers, God, 450, man. They got redemption after vengeance out to Memphis, losing to Memphis last year. I had forgot about that. And Mississippi State's going to be one of those sleeper teams in the SEC West that's going to come out and upset some people. Just wait. It's going to happen.
I mean, really, there's not. The other team I want to talk about before we kind of move on into Sunday night's game with Florida State LSU is my Beavers, baby. I heard so much. Oh, man, why do you think Oregon State's good? And then you watched them, and you were like, man, they are actually a good team. Yes, there was a lot of turnovers at the beginning of that game. That's just sloppy opening week stuff. Boise State's not bad. They handled business. They're going to handle business against Fresno State this week, even though it's going to be a good game. And the Beavers are going to keep winning. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched them, watch them because it's easy to count them out because of their name.
So you're talking about opening week sloppy playing and stuff. Let's talk about LSU special teams right now because I'm pulling my hair out just thinking about it. Oh my gosh! So Zane brought it, and on the flashcards, two muff punts, okay, a blocked extra point, and a missed field goal. Am I missing anything else? Because I feel like there's just something else on there that you're just like, man, come on, LSU. You're better than this, but they're really not. I don't know. What do you guys think about LSU?
listen, okay.
I think they're good.
I don't think LSU's a bad team. I think Florida State's a better team. And I say that a lot of people want to look at the block punt. You gotta play football, man. Notre Dame. Brian Kelly brought over his special teams coach from Notre Dame. This is not new. It's not a new head. They're not getting used to things. Florida State played football, and they had 40 more yards of penalties than LSU did, and one less turnover. I mean,
Florida State should have won the game handily.
Florida State should have won that
honestly.
game by at least 10, if not more.
There were so many low percentage things that happened in that game, like the fumble. Florida State was driving down the field and they got to the 1, 2, 3 yard line, and then they fumbled it right there. I'm like, come on, that would have gave them the game. I'm still not sold on Florida State. I'm still not sold on LSU. I think they're good teams.
I mean, there's nothing to be sold on for LSU. They're not going anywhere. The
No,
question
they're
with
not.
LSU is, can they be bowl eligible?
That's
And the
what I'm
answer
getting
is
at.
yes. I think Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback. He threw for over 200 yards and rushed for over 100. I saw people bashing him all week, and there were some funny videos about him. But the reality is, without him, they get killed
Oh,
by
absolutely.
They get absolutely obliterated in that game. Florida State was clearly the better team. I liked the fight from LSU, but Brian Kelly, he can never have it his way. That's the best way to say it.
BK,
I mean,
have
BK
it
he
your way.
can't have it his way. He always comes up short. I think he's a good coach, and he'll have them turned around. But, man, basic things have got to change if you're LSU. I think they're gonna upset somebody this year. I do think that. And I do think they'll make a bowl, but
Who do you think they'll upset in the West? Let's say in the West.
maybe Arkansas.
I think they beat A&M.
Dude, you already know I think they can beat A&M. Dude, if I'm picking A&M schedule, I got to go like 3-9. I'm just kidding. I don't think that.
Yeah,
But
Josh is right. They didn't have a running game for sure. They struggled. They just tried. I mean, it was Daniels running for his life, but I mean, he's getting it done. But
we had over 100 yards rushing.
yeah, they were very one dimensional. It felt like. You know.
I agree, Sweat. I think everyone in the West though will go 6-6 and better. So I think they'll finish last in the West, but I think everybody in the West is going bowling. I could be wrong. I predicted that preseason, though, just the way it sets up. There's 4 easy games for most of them, so then you only have to pull out 2 SEC games. And I think some of those bottom of the West teams will just beat each other up. Auburn, I don't know about yet, though, so that's a hard one. LSU could beat Auburn, but
I think LSU could
Rickman,
beat
right
Auburn.
here. I gotta read this out. Who pitches the ball on the 2-yard line? Up 24-17 with a minute left in the game.
Hey,
Good point.
Ask the Seahawks. Ask the Seahawks. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, that was a stupid
There's
play call.
there's some dumb play calls, and then there's that. That's dumb.
But Florida State, let's not take away from Florida State. So, after week 1, are we sold on Florida State? Or are we trashing Florida
I've been
State?
sold on Florida State
Are they
since
a
week
college
-1?
football playoff team? I already know what Tyler thinks, but do you think they have potential to get out of the ACC as the ACC champion with 1 loss or undefeated and go to the college football playoff? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
And here's why. Because I think the ACC just beats up on each other. And I know I was high on the ACC beginning, but after seeing week 1, and this could be a huge overreaction because a lot of people overreact after week 1. I think the ACC beats up on each other, and there's not a single team that comes out of there alive that can make the playoffs.
Pittsburgh.
I think the opposite.
Pittsburgh would probably be my first pick, and then after seeing them play now, my second pick would probably be Miami. You score 70 points in a game, I don't care who it's against.
It's
That's impressive.
North Carolina, man. Don't count them out, I'm telling you.
They're
My only question for Florida State was how good is Clemson going to be? My answer, I got my answer. Not very good.
Let's move to the Monday night game. Can we talk about that some? Because I have a lot to say. Georgia Tech is by far the worst football team I've ever seen. Dude, they are horrible.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing. If you put App State on the field against Clemson in that game, I think App State wins the game. Georgia Tech had an opportunity to win, and they are horrible. They get penalized over and over and over. How many false starts do you get? Freaking, you don't move until the ball moves. Are you an idiot? You play college football. And Geoff Collins, or whatever the crap his name is a horrible coach. Dude, you're an idiot. There's 48 seconds left. You're down by a touchdown, and you say, hey, I'm just going to go to halftime because I'm scared of Dabo Swinney. He might beat me up. Like, you're a moron. You don't deserve... You coached not to lose that game. You didn't coach to win, because if you coached to win the game, you probably would have won the game. I'm done with Georgia Tech. They go 1-11. I hope they lose this weekend and go 0-12.
You said everything I was going to say. I mean, the only thing I'll add to that is, like, how do you keep getting these false starts when the line just shifts? Georgia did it all last year, and I don't think it happened last year with them. So
This team, but can we note, this team came into this game getting outscored 100-0 in their last 2 games.
That's true.
And they are worse than they were last year by a lot.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not even close. And Clemson struggled with them. It was 17-10 at the end of the third
and they
quarter,
didn't
guys.
gain anything in the offseason. They lost playing in the offseason. They got worse.
How many times did
got
Georgia
worse.
Tech drop a pass when someone was wide open or trip? How many times did they trip for no reason?
There was a play where one of the receivers, it was wide open and tripped and fell, and you could see Jeff Collins just kind of like turn and like in disgust. Like you could tell that he was disgusted. with
On
his
that
own
same
team.
drive, it happened again. So
Oh, yeah.
he fell,
Several times.
and then it was third down, and the receiver slipped again, and they dropped it. Like,
Listen,
they're horrible. And I say that to say,
10 penalties for 86 yards, and they were 2 for 16 on third down. And they had one less minute of possession than Clemson did. And it was only a 4-point game at the beginning of the third quarter. Clemson is not a good football team.
Clemson's not good.
Don't
Clemson
let
will
them
lose it. I
score.
mean, if they go 8-4, I'd be surprised. I know. It's Clemson. Y'all just think that because of the brand name. If we were looking at any other team play like that, and here's the thing: everyone can say it's just one game. It's not just one game.
No.
Go back to last year. The problem was the offense sucked and the defense was off the chain. The defense got them off the hook and led them to 10-3. This year, the offense is just as bad, except the defense ain't as good. And you can say, "Oh, well, they looked good against Georgia Tech." That's a team that got outscored 100-0. And they scored 10 on them and should have scored more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Clemson is the same exact team as last year.
they're
but
worse.
Their defense
Worse. Oh
is
my
worse.
God, worse.
I
Way
think their
worse.
offense looks exactly the same.
Wake Forest
That
beats their
offensive line is bad.
Wake
It's
Forest
bad.
beats their
It's
brains
so
in
bad.
a few weeks.
It is a offensive line for Clemson is a turnstile.
How does Will
live-
How does Will Shipley only get 42 yards? Please answer that.
The offensive line coach needs to be fired. That was the problem last year. We can talk about DJ all you want, and he does look like a stick in the mud. I get it. But here's the thing. If DJ does not make that play on third down where he was about to be sacked and pitched it out,
Look,
then it was a 17-10 game at that point. Georgia Tech had all the momentum. They were looking good. They moved the ball down the field and scored. If that play doesn't happen, Clemson has to punt the ball back to a team that's hot. They possibly drive down and make it 17-17. As much as we want to talk about DJ saved the game right there because he drove him down the field and scored a touchdown, and that's when it kind of ended the game.
And
So
that's where most of Will Shipley's rush yards of a grand total of 42 came from.
and
that
Georgia
was a
Tech
pass.
quit after that. They were just done after they
And
got
that's
down 2 touchdowns.
That's the thing is when I made my post before this game, like 41-10, that's what it should have been. Like, or not the 10 part, but 41. That's what they should have been like going into the half. Like Clemson should be beating the brakes off of Georgia Tech. Like that's the difference in the program that you built up. But that's how bad this team is. If they don't turn this around this year, they're going to be asking for Dabo's job. Like it's not even going to be. Nothing's going to save him. Past national championships are not going to save him. Abysmal year last year, another terrible year this year. He's going to end up. They're going to clash for his job.
I mean, literally, I don't see how they beat Wake Forest. I really don't. That game's in a couple weeks. Sam Hartman is back. That is a big deal. I don't see how they do it. I don't really see how they beat Miami. I don't see how they beat Florida State. I don't see NC State's going to be trouble. I don't see Notre Dame's going to be trouble.
They're gonna play
I don't
Ole
see
Miss
how they
too.
beat South Carolina. Clemson doesn't.
No,
Well, we don't care about Georgia Tech. But there's possibly 6 losses on Clemson's schedule. And I don't think they'll lose all of them, but I think they're going to at least lose 4 of them.
At Wake Forest, at Boston
That's an
College,
L.
at Florida State, at Notre Dame, they run the risk of maybe not Boston College. They run the chance of losing.
Boston
3 out of
College
4
almost
of those
beat them
games.
last year.
There's a good chance. There's a good chance they lose all 4 of those games. They're at least losing those 3 away games.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I mean,
What are the
Clemson is
chances-
not a college football playoff team.
What are the chances, and this is bold, what are the chances that Clemson isn't bowl eligible after the end of the season?
I mean, it's low, but I could see them losing to Syracuse too.
Josh, don't think. I'm not saying that Debo is going somewhere. I'm saying that you're going to have fans and other people asking for his job because they're going to be frustrated with.
They
that
will
team.
never.
So my buddy
I'm not
Clay,
saying he's going anywhere. I'm saying they're going to be asking for his job.
my buddy Clay was at the game yesterday, and people were calling for DJ Ukulele to get. They wanted Cade Klubnik to play, and I thought we would get to see him a little bit earlier based on the performance that I saw from DJ.
Well,
I know DJ won the game,
Look at DJ's
Or-
numbers though; they weren't bad.
but he just doesn't look the part. And I guess Clemson fans and us that are viewing the games are a little bit spoiled with what we're used to at Clemson with Taj Boyd, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, and all those. They've always had dynamic quarterbacks, but DJ does not fit that part.
But with that offensive line, Trevor Lawrence isn't worth a crap. I'm telling you, man. If with that offensive line, Trevor Lawrence is a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong. But even when you put a phenomenal player like Trevor Lawrence with that offensive line, he struggles, man. He's a tall dude. They're getting hands all over him. Do I think Trevor would still perform well and still? Yes, I do. But they would still have lost games.
That's
It's the
arguable.
offensive line, man.
And here's the thing: West Virginia's offensive line, in my opinion, looks worse than Clemson's
No
offensive
way.
line.
Not even
and
close.
JT Daniels still was putting up numbers. And
No,
still playing
the
well.
difference in that is that it wasn't Georgia Tech was only sending 3 or 4 players. Pittsburgh was sending 6 or 7 players on
Good point.
JT.
Good
And,
point.
and the difference is JT had people open downfield for a quick release. But because Georgia Tech only had to send 3 to 4 players, all of the receivers were covered. If you can get pressure with 3 to 4 players, then nobody's open. JT literally just got the ball out fast because he knew they were sending the house every time. DJ didn't have that option because his line couldn't hold up with 3 people rushing, much less 6. Clemson's bad.
Clemson is bad. And I feel bad because Dabo's that guy that doesn't want to be wrong, and I think he's gonna keep DJ in just so he doesn't have to hear the. He worries too much about the media, man. Like he's worried about his image and
Who?
Dabo. Like I think that's gonna be his downfall as far as when it comes to like not. It's gonna be too late by the time he takes DJ out. Like I think that's gonna be the problem.
Cade's going to play.
Now, Dabo, here's the thing with Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney needs to go to the NFL. College football is changing, and Dabo Swinney is refusing to change. That's all there is to it. He's not going to the portal. He's not about the NIL. Dabo, man, you're Clemson. You should have took care of your offensive woes in the offseason with transfers. You could get whoever the heck you wanted if you wanted to go get them. But you didn't because you're not willing to change.
He could have built something crazy with this NIL stuff. I mean, crazy.
And there's a lot of great things that fall apart because of the refusal to change. And that happens all the time. And I see it happening with Clemson. Josh Rickman, you're crazy, man. The 2, possibly 3 games, they lose way more than that. I don't see. And Joshua Sweat, I'd love to know. You said Georgia Tech's going to win 3 games. Where do you get 3? Please comment that.
Look, three would be like best case scenario, like miracle season. 2 is like, all right, they had a good year. 1 is expected. 0 is what I expect.
So they're losing to Western Carolina
They're
this
losing
week.
to everybody. Everybody.
If Tech goes 0-12, it would make my year.
I can't see it. I don't see it. I can't physically say that they're gonna win a game. I can't do it. I would lose a lot of money.
All right. So week 1 was fantastic.
Hold on.
What?
Josh Garner just said Dabo's a life. Josh Garner, Dabo better hope that Nick Saban retires quick because right now Alabama would take him, but in another 3 to 4 years they won't take him because he refuses to change, and Clemson's program is going to continue to tank. He's going to turn into a coach that wins 8, 9, 10 games a year and doesn't do anything.
Is Dabo just an older, like, or a younger version of Saban in a way that like refuses to change? Because Saban hates NIL the same way
Saban
Dabo
has
does.
changed.
Except Saban will
just-
change.
just-
He's adapted.
Well, I'm just saying in the way that they just like are disgusted with NIL, that kind of change, because it's going to continue to change, and I don't, like you're saying, Dabo doesn't seem to want to. Saban's going to retire before it's going to matter.
Well,
so.
even if you go back to
die.
2020 when they had Trevor Lawrence, they weren't that good. They played an all-ACC schedule in a bad conference, and they lost to Notre Dame in the regular season, got them again in the conference championship, beat them, and then got their brains beat in by Ohio State in the playoffs. So I say that to say Clemson hasn't been good since 2019. They haven't. I mean, they were better in 2020. They were pretty good. Then last year, they were not good. This year, they're worse. They're on a downward trajectory.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
We probably need to move on to this week. That's what Dustin's trying to. He's over here trying to get me to move on because I could talk about this all day.
Let's cover a few more things. Sweat says Western Carolina is a win. Duke, Virginia, or Virginia Tech are all winnable
They're both
games.
disgusting to me. Elizabeth.
Western Carolina, Duke. I can kind of see it, but I think it's gonna be 2. I think they win Western Carolina and one of those.
They ain't beating Duke, Virginia, or Virginia Tech. Did you watch Duke this weekend? They actually look decent.
Yeah, they look good.
Hey, they're going to
Georgia
win
Tech's
championships
bad.
on the field in the fall, and that's what the coach said.
They what? Oh, yeah.
He said-
Them and Vandy are playing for the Natty.
Oh,
There's
my
a
God.
difference between disgusted acceptance and disgusted resistance. Liz with the wisdom there. Let's move on to week 2. Finally, that took a lot longer than I thought it would, but
It's because Clemson's not good, dude. Here, hey. We're going to start doing a segment. This week we didn't have the stuff to do. We're going to start doing a segment where we do trash it or cash it. And I'm going to tell you right now, Clemson's going in the trash can. They have no shot at winning the ACC. They have no shot at winning the national title or making the college football playoff.
Like
And
Texas.
And honestly, they might not even go bowling. Texas, Alabama. Let's talk about it.
all right. So, do we think this
Alabama.
game's close at all?
No, this game is not. This game is over by halftime. This legitimately over by halftime.
I'm thinking 70-14.
Oh God,
It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be a
it's
bloodbath.
gonna be ugly. I don't know that Texas scores. I don't. I
They'll
don't
score
know
in mop up duty.
Look,
Or they might. They'll either
Dude.
score like the very first drive and be like, "Oh, Texas is back, baby!" Then they'll get killed, or
A field
they'll
goal,
end up
maybe?
scoring at the end.
I don't see them scoring a touchdown. I honestly think that Alabama is going to manhandle them.
They only score because they're
Freaking-
at Texas. 48-10, Bama.
Bama.
48? You're okay. If they hold them to 48, I'll be shocked. There's
Bama's
no
going to
way.
run all over them. It's going to be nasty.
All right, let's get to
gonna
actually
be
good
ugly.
games now.
It's going to be a good game to watch
South
the
Carolina-
horns go down.
South Carolina and Arkansas.
I don't know.
I'm interested in this one because I didn't get to watch South Carolina play this
No
far
bigger
last week.
massacre than the attack on the Alamo. God,
What?
that's great. That's great.
That's funny. I'm ready to see South Carolina and Arkansas play. With it being at Arkansas, I think Arkansas has a better team with KJ Jefferson and their receivers and their linebackers especially. I want to see Spencer Rattler. I will be watching this game and skipping the Bama-Texas game at noon just because I don't care.
Hey, we need to keep
I'm
up.
watching-
Last week, I don't feel like we kept up with our picks, but we're only doing about 10, 12 games. We need to keep up and see how we did after this week. See
Sure,
what
we can do that.
We all got
I'm
Bama.
watching the marquee game of the noon games, and that's Vanderbilt and Wake Forest.
No, seriously.
And
That's a better
Vanderbilt,
game.
Vanderbilt's going to give them a game.
Sam Hartman.
I have a feeling that
Sam Hartman's back, though, so I don't know.
Hey, it's in Nashville. You know they got it's the greatest football town according to Clark Lea. So
So that line was only 8 points, and it's already went since Sam Hartman announced that he was playing. It's already went up to 13.5.
What's the line
that's how
for?
big of a difference he makes.
So I mean, I had actually had Vanderbilt winning the game until Sam Hartman was out, which I don't think they would have. That was wishful
I don't
thinking.
know.
But
I'm going to ride the Vanderbilt
what
train
line
for
are you
now.
looking for?
I want to know the Bama line. Has it moved?
No, it's
I
like
saw it at
20.
like 20.
It's like 20 something.
Someone-
It should be 70. I mean,
I'll take whatever they want to give.
yeah, it's just like, man, give them 50. I don't care.
Give me 50. I'm with it. I'll roll with it.
Next game.
I'm taking I will say I'm taking Arkansas. I think it'll be close though. I think South Carolina could get the upset. You know what? Forget it. I'm taking South Carolina. I don't know why. I just got a feeling that South Carolina's going to pull it out. So there's no reason to the madness. It's just I
In
got
Arkansas?
a feeling.
I don't know.
No.
I'm going to Arkansas on that one.
Missouri, Kansas State.
I took Kansas State at the beginning of the season. I'm taking Kansas State.
I got K-State. Missouri ain't got it, boys.
Missouri 18 dudes.
Quickly. All right, this is probably the biggest game.
Wake Forest, Vandy.
Yeah, I got Vandy on that one. Clark Lea, he's the dude.
Oh,
He's
it's
that-
at Vandy.
Yeah.
I got Wake. I think Wake was close.
You heard
Close.
Clark Lea, the best town.
It wouldn't matter because both of their stadiums are pretty much approximately the same size as a high school stadium.
I do have a serious question though.
Sure.
If the matchup was not Wake Forest Vanderbilt and it was Vanderbilt Clemson, who do you take this week?
I'm thinking Vandy.
I'm taking Vandy in week 2 of the year. I mean, after what I saw, I just
Oh my god.
We would have to make sure Vandy beat.
That's a
Clemson
game
on
I'd
this
have
one.
to go to. Like I'm not even playing.
It's
Clemson's not
closer
that
to
far away.
Clemson.
yeah, dude. If it was at Clemson, I would be there. Even if it didn't happen, I would have to go see if it would happen.
I'd go buy me a bunch of Vandy gear. I'd wear it. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Tennessee Pittsburgh, probably the best game this week.
I'm taking Pitt.
Okay.
The offense, honestly, they're going to run the football, and here's my reasoning: they're going to run the football, they're going to pound it, and when they need to throw, they can. But they're built on the run. They're going to slow down the game. They're going to take Tennessee off rhythm with weird blitzes on defense because their defense just sends 6, 7, 8 people. You don't even know who's coming, and I think they'll slow down the game by the offense staying on the field, and then the defense will end up getting negative yardage. And when you get negative yardage, don't get me wrong, Tennessee's going to beat them deep several times in the game, but they're going to create enough negative plays to get out of the game alive. I think it's close. I would say I'm rolling with Pittsburgh probably like 38-28.
I'm taking Tennessee.
I mean, of course you are.
I'm taking Tennessee. I just
No,
am.
I got Pittsburgh in that game.
Y'all go for it. I'm taking Tennessee.
taking Pittsburgh.
I think
Pitt's too good, man. I'd be. It might not even be close.
Tennessee,
and I can't
They're not notoriously very good on the road. I mean,
I can't argue
say
with you.
Pittsburgh.
I can't.
You have no reason. I mean, just one.
I just think Tennessee did not show anything against Ball State, and
Well, it's not about that.
I just think they didn't look good against Ball State. I just think they're high. I think Tennessee is more than what we're seeing right now, and I'm just taking Tennessee.
brand name.
There's nothing to do with brand name. They haven't been a brand name forever.
Dude, Tennessee is a brand name, bro. There's nothing takes that. What about Houston, Texas Tech?
That was we didn't even talk
Texas
about that.
Tech's quarterback is out.
Houston.
Houston, I'm rolling with Houston.
What's the Iowa State game? You got?
I got Iowa State.
I don't want to watch
Iowa
that
State
game.
looked pretty good in week 1. Iowa looked horrendous.
Yeah,
Iowa State traditionally struggles against Iowa, but I think they get it done this week.
How did
always is a good
Liz
game.
do with that game? She survived. That's you're picking like an Iowa.
Dude, she didn't care about that game. All right. What do we got? Virginia, Illinois? Virginia
too.
Yeah.
I'm not really impressed with Illinois right now.
The
All
game of the week, Kentucky, Florida.
I don't know. Y'all talk first because
Give
I'm going to be a
me-
last minute decision on this. You can't pick this game.
Look, after last week, I feel like I'm obligated to pick Florida because of how bad I trash talked them. So I feel like I gotta give them a little bit of love.
You got to pick Kentucky, Aaron.
I don't know.
And that hurts to say.
Here's my issue.
It's pain. It's lots of pain.
So Kentucky doesn't have Chris Rod, which is an issue. But I think that because Florida is so one-dimensional and Anthony Richardson has to be going in order to win the game, I think Kentucky will game plan to stop him. Slow him down, not stop him. I don't think it's possible to stop him. You got to slow him down. I'm high on Florida, and I've said if they can get through Kentucky, they're going to go 11-1. I don't think they're going to get through Kentucky. I think Kentucky wins a close game. Wouldn't be surprised if Florida pulls it out, though.
When's the last time Kentucky won in Gainesville?
I think 2 years ago.
Is
I
it
could
really
be wrong.
recent?
No, it wouldn't have been 2020.
Haven't they won? Has Kentucky won twice in a row? Forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Kentucky
They won last year. They didn't win in 2020 because Florida won.
It's not something I've looked
Florida
at.
won the East. It
I've
might have
got-
been 2019 when Kentucky beat
I've
them.
got 4 Florida fans in here. Someone answer that for me. I like to know.
Yeah, I'd be
2017 sweat.
I'd be really shocked if Kentucky pulled that away.
Yeah, I could literally a coin toss, man. I don't know.
I don't know if those teams are that far apart, honestly. But I give the advantage to Florida being at home and coming off a pretty big win.
But I think coming off that win could be the reason for
Could
a
be.
loss
Could
because
be.
they're not that deep. Kentucky's coming in healthy, strong. They didn't really have to show anything in their win last week.
2017 at home. Okay, so it's been a little while.
I think they're going to do it. I mean, really, 2017 isn't that long ago. You got to think they play every
thinking,
other year.
I know they lost last year, but for some reason I was thinking like 2019, like a little more fresh.
Yeah.
It's not quite as recent as I thought.
Well, I hadn't went.
Baylor and BYU would be the next.
I'm going to talk about Florida and Kentucky now.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Because they now have film. Like, I'm going pretty much what you're saying. Because Kentucky now has film on Anthony Richardson. And I think Florida's a good team. I think Anthony Richardson is the difference maker. I think you game plan around that somehow. Stoops is a great coach, probably the most underrated coach in the entire country, in my opinion. I think Kentucky wins by a point.
I mean, after this weekend, man, there were so many games decided by a point.
Yeah.
By a point, and my gut's just saying Kentucky.
My gut's saying Kentucky. I was actually for Florida up until we came to make the pick. And
Yeah,
there was
'cause
just
we
something that was like, I got to thinking about the film and everything else. I think Kentucky wins. Wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way, though. Then now we got Baylor, BYU. This is a big-time matchup. I think that BYU is better than people think, and when you look at their schedule's pretty tough. If they ran the table, they'll be in the college football playoff. Will they run the table? I doubt it, but they're a team to watch out for. Because they do play Baylor, they play Notre Dame, they play. There's a few other teams in there. I can't remember, but there's some good quality opponents in there. But who do y'all have in Baylor at BYU? BYU's the favorite.
I'm not even looking at BYU. I think Baylor wins this game. I'm not saying convincingly, but not even like easily. It's going to be a pretty easy game for Baylor, I think, in the long run. Like when you look at this game and after all 4 quarters, I think Baylor's going to not necessarily manhandle them, but it's going to be ugly for BYU, I think. I don't have any faith in BYU.
I don't know.
I mean, I have faith in BYU. I think BYU's going to have a good team this year. I think they'll finish the year in the top 15. But Baylor's underranked. In my opinion, if Baylor is a top 5 team, and you can laugh at me all you want, but Clemson's ranked number 5 right now. So Baylor's a top 5 team in my opinion. I might even put them higher. I like Baylor a lot. I think they get out alive. Close.
Who did Baylor
field goal game?
I'm trying to look for that game. Who did Baylor play last week?
Crap State.
What was the score of that game?
It was like 68 to something.
69-10.
BYU
Albany.
put up points too.
Who'd they play?
Albany.
USF.
And BYU played USF.
They're
It was
both
50 to
good. I
21.
got Baylor by a field goal.
Could you see this game being a shootout?
No.
No?
It'll be a defensive game.
You think so?
Yeah.
No, dude. Baylor's gonna manhandle BYU.
All right.
Hey, I like that. I hope so. I got Baylor in my college football playoffs. So keep on
I
rolling.
was trying to be nice and not say like they were going to destroy them, but yeah, they're going to manhandle them.
I still think close, but we'll see. Oregon State. Oh, you got to go.
I'll take Baylor.
You want to say anything about it?
Absolutely
Just you got
not.
Baylor. Oregon State, Fresno State is our last one before we close out the show. Of course, I got the Beavs. There's no other reason to it. I mean, it's a 1-point spread though. It's supposed to be a close game. Oregon State wins. They're just good. They can run. They can pass. They can play defense. I like them. They have a lot of energy.
You made me a believer. Props to you for the research on Oregon State that I failed to make. I will take Oregon State in this.
Yeah, that's a given.
He just don't want to say anything.
Not for Fresno. No.
Hey, and could Arizona, now that they have one win, pull it out against Mississippi State?
No.
Oh, they go 1-11.
Well, guys,
Good show, guys. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad football is finally back, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to talk about this coming week too. I mean, this week 1 was the best ever.
I can't remember a better week 1. And I didn't even get to tell you my word to describe week 1.
What is your word?
Refreshing.
Refreshing.
It is here. Finally, week 0 had a moment, but that moment sucked compared to everything that happened in week 1. It was fantastic from beginning Thursday. I was entertained Friday, Saturday from lunch all the way to the end of the day. Sunday I was entertained, and Clemson and Georgia Tech both suck, and they ruined Monday night
Monday
for
was
me.
disaster.
And I mean, the takeaway from week 1 is it's Georgia, Alabama, and the rest.
That's it.
Georgia and Alabama will beat anybody by 3+ touchdowns. I don't even think it's close. Man, put them up against NFL teams. I think they compete. I mean, those two teams are. I don't understand how they're so good. But
I think that's development, and I think that's the biggest part of it.
Cheaters.
Hey, whoa, watch out, Jimbo. Calm down.
But we're excited about next week. We'd love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments. You can make fun of our picks. Are you with us? We want all the feedback we can get. And next week we're going to have a few more segments to add a little more entertainment value when we're talking about the games. So we'll have that up and going next week. So anyone got anything to say before we close out?
LSU sucks. Clemson sucks. Not Michigan. Florida State.
Georgia Tech's horrible.
Georgia Tech's fine.
All right, have a good week, guys. We'll see you
y'all.
next week.